We are Steve and Jill. Together, we've been buying and reselling land since the 90s.
Our data-centric approach leaves our buyers asking, how can you sell it so cheap?
Here on the Land Academy Show,
We answer that and more. I'm Steve and Jack Butala.
and I'm Jill DeWit, and this is the Land Academy Show.
This is episode number 2026. Today the topic is, or we're going to talk about how to locate places to send mail using the Land Academy red, green, yellow test. It's something I came up with a lot of years ago. It's widely copied by all the other people that think they can teach this on the internet, and we're going to describe it and let you know why we think it works or why it works for us and many, many, many Land Academy members.
Can I ask a question? Why do you choose the colors in that order? I think of a stoplight.
You know, it's one of those things like the same reason that Google is spelled wrong. Because somebody spelled it wrong.
How Google should be spelled?
I don't know. It's G-O... I don't think there's...
What should
I don't know exactly the correct spelling because they spelled it wrong.
Is it G and U with 2 dots over it?
No, it's nothing like that. Everybody's looking up, how do you really spell Google?
Yeah, now you didn't just make that up?
No! You're all right.
No. Google was... No, you don't have to do that. I totally believe you. But I didn't know Google was supposed to... Like, we're saying it wrong? Google? Are we... How should we be pronouncing it?
Google is
what was it supposed to be?
I'm showing my...
Wow. I know
Google
that...
is something in science. I don't want to restart the episode, but the fact is, I don't know exactly what it is, and I don't know how to spell it.
But Google means something?
Yeah.
Oh,
Tesla. It's it's not Tesla is not a car. It's the last name of a person who created a scientific process. Google is something.
You and I read very different articles.
That's right.
So
to answer your question.
So for those of you who are going, what? I too am in the same boat with you. I learned some new things today. Thank you, Jack.
So you can do the Google Tesla research yourself.
My thing was...
choose whether or not to listen to the rest of this
I thought it was red, yellow, green. The way the stoplight goes.
That's what it should be.
So that's how I describe it. And so, all right.
But I started saying red, green, yellow, and here we are.
Now it throws me every time you say it. Maybe that was the point. Just to mess with me. All right.
This week, all week, we're talking about rules to live by in your land business. You've listened to Monday and Tuesday already. Today, we're talking about how to locate places to send mail using my ill-named process, red, green, yellow test. Tomorrow, we talk about how often does it take to, how often do you have to renegotiate the price in a land deal?
And Friday, it is getting land deals under contract to be purchased in 2 days.
Each day, and you'll find out in a second here on the show, we answer a question from our Land Academy member Discord forum, and we take a deep dive into land-related topics by your request.
Mm-hmm. So Mark wrote, what parts of the red, yellow, green test look?
Oh, she's right, too.
Yeah. Are you... Just saying. Are you seeing fail more predominantly in the current environment? We talked about this just yesterday.
This is a great question.
Go for it.
So the way that I do the red, green, yellow test doesn't fail. Mm-hmm. And the way that we're seeing when we talk about in the module where we talk about this test, what the red, green, yellow test is this. It is this. If you can picture in your mind on a map between 3 and 10 zip codes that are all adjacent to each other in an area. They're all squiggly lines. They're like pieces of a puzzle. And so the whole point to the red, green, yellow test is to analyze from a data standpoint each one of those zip codes and find out which ones are very viable to buy and sell real estate in and which ones are not. And they are all relative to each other, which is why we and I teach and test them for ourselves when they're adjacent. So if you have 3 zip codes, one of them is going to shine, and we're going to look at days on market. When property gets listed for sale, in each of these 3 zip codes, which zip code does the property sell the fastest? Another statistic we look at is how many properties are for sale in that zip code divided by how many properties are in the universe of that entire zip code. What percentage of property in zip code number 1 is for sale? And let's say it's 1% in one zip code. In another zip code, it's 0.5%. In another zip code, it's 0.1%. Very few properties for sale. Well, I choose the number 3. So now we've got one that's got the fastest moving property, one has got the least amount for sale, and then we look at a couple more statistics that we look at, like pending property, and just it's all about, if I get a property in this zip code, will it sell fast, and what type of property do they want that people are buying?
You know what's funny about that? You and I, as we're recording this, it's September, and we're sitting in Montana. And I was actually studying a Montana market with you this morning, and I went, holy moly. Then it was like 300 properties for sale. This is all types, not just land, in this particular market. And it was a small market. Basically, it made up like a third of the market. It was like a third or fourth. I want to maybe a fourth 30%. Of the mark. That was 20%. That's a lot. So what, like something like that, 25%, heck, even 10%. If 10% of a market, the whole market is listed for sale, do you want to swim in that pool? Do you want to be one more thrown in there for sale? And that's stuff that's smoked out by this test.
All of that. She's exactly right. The key is, so invariably people will ask, okay, well, what's the threshold then? Is it 1% of the entire market? And my answer is this. It is all relative to the zip codes that are adjacent. And that's it. If you're looking at 3 to 10 zip codes in a market where you're lucky enough to have that much data, the red, green, yellow test will tell you where to send mail. And if it's priced correctly, how fast it'll sell. It's just, that's the point to the title of this is, how to locate places sending mail, locate places to send mail using the Land Academy test.
Well, this
tells
question,
you where to send mail.
Well, let's call it right now. Let's say this is the meat of the show.
Oh, this
Continue.
is the meat of the show. Yeah. Oh, that is all right. That is a
we
question.
Even got
the
there.
Topic's exactly the same.
Yeah, exactly.
So invariably, what I get asked is, how much is enough? And my answer always is, it's relative. Mm-hmm. And I know that sounds nebulous, but it's really not. In a group of zip codes that you've identified that you're testing, 2 or 3 of the zip codes are going to do great. Mm-hmm. And this is the way it happens in real life. 2 or 3 are great. We send all the mail there. And 1, possibly 2, it just smashes you in the face that you should not be buying property there.
Okay.
Like what Jill just said.
Right.
If 33% of the entire market is for sale, run the other way.
Yeah. That's the thing. And if you think, oh, I'm going to go in and I'm going to be the cheapest one, so no big deal, I don't care. That doesn't always work that way. You're not going to stand out. And then sometimes if you have the cheapest property, now you got people, and it could be a phenomenal property that you bought so well in a perfect world. You bought it great. It's beautiful. Everything's awesome. And you are 70% of everything else that's out there. And everybody looks at it like, what's wrong with it? I've had that. You can't do that. It just doesn't make any sense.
When the numbers are really off on the red, green, yellow test, it's indicating something. Mm-hmm. And so you can spend a lot of time, which is what I actually do. I'm not saying you should do this, and you probably shouldn't. I want to know why when there's some weird stuff going on. So here's some popular reasons why things are really off with the red, green, yellow test. Number one, good. The average price per property is way freaking too high. So Jill and I have spent this entire summer driving around the western part of the country in these mountain towns where everything is, in my opinion, grossly overpriced. And so and a lot of properties are vacant and they're second homes, and people don't care. So they buy a property for $500,000 and they put it up on the market after they've used it for a couple of seasons for 2.5, and it sits there for years on the market, and they don't care.
True.
And that's fine. That's actually not a bad business model. They'll wait for the market to catch up, or they'll even contribute to dragging the market up to those prices. That's not the kind of market where you want to buy and sell a piece of property in 2 weeks in general, unless it's really cheap. And so you can spend a lot of time figuring out why, or you can just look at the data and say, I'm not sending it to these 3 zip codes, but I am going to send it to these 5 zip codes and it's very clear why. There's not a lot of properties for sale. The properties that do go up for sale sell very quickly, and the average prices are very low and affordable for the area. I'm going to send it to that zip code. So it's automatic. You'll automatically get deal flow if you do this correctly.
True.
And often and in a system.
What's great about this whole test too is that it starts with trolling. It starts with, let me just back up and paint the picture, and we can wrap it on this. What we show you to do is picking areas too. You got to start with pick an acquisition criteria. You really start with that. How much money do I want to spend? How much am I going to try to make? What do I want to do this year? How much do I want to do this month? How many deals do I want to do? So it really starts with that first, having that goal in your head. I want to make $1 million this year. I want to do 4 deals or so a month, and back into it that way. And then you can see all of that. Then, we show you, we have a whole spreadsheet. I say we when it's Jack's. A whole spreadsheet that you plop in these numbers and it backs into it going, all right, this is what you need to buy. You need to buy properties, within this price range, or you're going to buy them at this price or selling at this price. And this is probably how much mail you need to send. So that starts there with your criteria. Now you're going, okay, now I learn to troll and go find the areas, right? That these numbers make sense. Look at all these people over here in XYZ state and XYZ county. These numbers and these properties all fit exactly what I'm trying to do. But don't stop there. Let's all triple check and make sure we're doing the right thing too. That's where this red, yellow, green test comes in. And we're so data nutty to make sure that we're making really smart decisions.
My entire career, I've been in some version of acquisitions. Corporate acquisitions, real estate acquisitions, and many, many, many more. For nonprofits, for-profits, healthcare systems, investment banks. And now, finally for myself. And so, whoever you're learning this from is listening to what we are saying here, and 2 or 3 weeks later, you'll hear it from some of the other people.
That happens often.
They don't have, what they happen to be is very good at SEO. Jill and I are the originals in this, they were the original educators in this space. In fact, I created this mailer system and everybody else copied it, and that's fine. But my point here is I've been in acquisitions for decades, and I can tell you that this system works, and it all starts with one thing where you turn your computers off, you turn everything off, you sit down, and you decide how much money you want to make, how many deals you want to do, and what your career looks like with a piece of paper and a pencil.
Right.
And with a big eraser on it, because it's going to change all the time.
True.
And once you decide that, Jill just said it perfectly. I want to make $1 million a year. I want to do 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 deals a month. This is what the deals look like. And this is how much mail I have to send out and the process that I have to go through to get to that end. And it's the red, green, yellow test is it takes all the guesswork out of it. It says this zip code will fulfill what you're trying to do, your criteria, and this zip code will not.
That's it. And if this sings to you, we can help you. You got to be kind of data nutty.
Yep.
If you're data nutty, we'll show you the way.
We have of all the people that are existing Land Academy members and who have gone through Land Academy and are on their way now and executing, half of them are like me and half are like Jill. So if you have had a lot of experience in sales or you're a born salesperson, find a Jack. And the reverse is true.
Thanks.
If you're lucky enough to be a real small percentage of a person that has both, then you probably have bigger problems than us.
Join us tomorrow. We discuss how often does land purchase price renegotiation happen?
You are not alone in your real estate ambition.
We are Jack and Jill.
Information
and inspiration
to buy undervalued property.
We hope you found our content valuable and we appreciate your support. If you have not already, please check out our channel and hit the subscribe button.
And your comments and suggestions help us to create the content you're here for. Hitting the like button helps to support our channel's algorithm and gauge your interest for future shows.